Hey guys, welcome back to Doremicom channel. I am here to do an unboxing of Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel version 2, made by Motifidius Game. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but the very first game I ever purchased at a game convention was Pressman Games Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel version 1. And that game was crazy good. It was super simple to teach and learn, and as long as you had a bunch of people in a room, it was quite honestly the most fantastic combat-oriented party game that I could think of. The rules were simple. You rolled certain dice. You either had enough bullet markers on the dice to kill the opponent, or you didn't. It was one or the other. If you did, you removed it. If you didn't, you left it on. And everything was pretty straightforward. You had 2 characters that you controlled. I want to create a slightly different format for the Doremicom videos because I'm curious about things that I would like to start off with a question that I want you guys to answer. I want to know what was the first game that you purchased at a game convention, or the game that got you into the board gaming hobby. Okay? The second printing of Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel came through Kickstarter, and it was the very first time where I started to learn that Kickstarter delivery dates were approximate at the very best. Originally, this was on Kickstarter in either 2014 or 2015 with a print and release date for 2016. Didn't arrive at my doorstep until 2019. And if I remember correctly, it was mid to late 2019. And by that point, because of its straightforward and simplicity, some of the people I wanted to play with were no longer lived in my area. So it was very much a learning lesson on how Kickstarter works. And although other games would be far worse, Kingdom Death Monsters, like, yeah, you were only a couple years late, hold my beer. They're approaching 10 years. I really was shocked at how long it took for this game to come out. Now, we're going to do an unboxing of this, but I will tell you right now that I went out to eBay and I bought another copy of Pressman Games' first version of this, which I hope to actually do a compare and contrast between the 2 versions. This will not go into gameplay. It will just be an unboxing. So with all that in mind, let's take a look. The first thing I want to do is actually go over the box itself. Hidden in the fogginess of the background, you can see the Ezoghoul bursting through the door, as well as the one of the champion models coming in with your particular faction models up front. Again, I believe the way that it's going to work is similar to version 1, where you played as 2 characters from your faction. The nice thing about this particular version is that it gives you 3 models from which to choose from. So let's quickly get this. And yeah, this is just suction on the box. Really tightly packaged. Okay. So as a reminder, this is the 6th or 7th time that I've unboxed this. So these things might not be in complete correct order, but these are stickers that go on top of individual terrain models to give that kind of dark, grimdark, urban feel. These 2 books are done hand in hand. We're going to start with the rule book. The rule book, even though it's bigger, and it really does a good job of illustrating this art, some of these images actually are, I think, from the original game or closely tied to it. But it's only 28 pages long. It talks about the matrix of the particular game board so that you can kind of play this remotely. It has a few rules on how to deal with particular encounters and how you actually treat your promotion points to different levels. Some gear you can't get until you've been promoted. There talks about the types of attacks and the attack sequence, move actions, It's actually pretty straightforward. Much of this is just illustrations. Look at 2 of the 28 pages is nothing but illustrations on what comes in the box. And as you can see down here, individual faction models have different colored bases than the opponents. The next book that comes in the box is the mission book, which actually controls the campaigns as well. I believe the original game only had 2 campaigns. Here, there's 3 campaigns coming with 5 different missions apiece. And if you take a look at how this... Actually, let's turn the page real quick. So, as an example, each one of the tiles is double-sided, but also has an orientation. So here is the 11, but it's, twisted once counterclockwise, and 5 is upside down. The campaigns have a certain time limit that tell you the number of rounds, gives you detailed story about what happened leading up to this particular mission, the events that you have to actually achieve, how you actually assign Dark Legion resources, which includes the opponents that you're going to be fighting. And if you win the mission, complete the mission, you get particular rewards for your Doom Trooper. If you fail, then the Dark Legion player gets additional resources. Now we're going to take a look at the miniatures, and some of these are still in plastic bags, so these are the more generic monsters. We're not going to quite take a look at those. I'd much rather show you again in detail. So for instance, all the white based models are all the same faction, and you're going to see some B-roll footage throughout here that shows the individual models that are more up close. Here are much more dynamic range to the models. There's a certain feeling of energy that comes from these particular models that are completely not existent in the original models. The player character models have far more detail than you would see in any of the version 1 miniatures. We'll go down a level. Here's the Ezo Ghoul, who is just, if you come across him and you're underleveled, all you do is run, and you hope he does not catch up to you. He is rolling unbelievably tough stat rolls and will take down any player character quickly. If we look at these particular cards, I actually think that these are include at least additional mission cards that for a particular mission within a campaign, you have overall missions that are required, but you can get additional points or not based on your faction having its own mission as well, which kind of makes this a co-op and competitive game at the same time. Here's the new player boards, and they all use these particular tokens to control things like how much health. So if you take a look at this, there's 2 slots for player characters. Their health is along the top. The promotion points are to the side. If I remember correctly, the version 1 was far more detailed than this, and you had a few more things you had to keep track of. I like the streamed down notion of this. I think this particular location is used to put your faction card, which gives you additional special abilities. We'll go down a level, and now we're looking at player boards. So here is an example of, you see the number 2, so this is the number 2 player board, and again they're double-sided. So here is the 9 player board, and again, if you look at the particular maps, sometimes it'll say, have the 9 facing like this, and it allows effectively this to be 4 different boards in the game. If we look at the last layer, you have the dice, and again, the white dice have the least amount of chance of being success. It's 2 out of 6 sides are hits, the rest are misses. The red dice are 3 out of 6 are hits, 3 out of 6 are misses, and the black dice, 4 out of 6 are hits, 2 are misses. These various cards have different capabilities, including starter cards that might go into some interesting facts. You have particular powers that, so beyond what your individual faction can do, you might have a card that is a game-changing, breaking card, but it helps you defeat the Dark Legion. Some of the cards might be turned over in order to get a sense of what are the creatures that are contained within that room. And you might have gear cards, and I don't know what all these particular icons are for, but again, this is just an unboxing. We'll go into more detail as we go through an actual mission adventure. Make sure you are subscribed to both this and My Campaign Rules, because if you have any interest in the Siege of the Citadel. And again, we're going to be using this because it's a very easy game to play in order to get the technology correct for more complex campaign games. So again, that was a fast unboxing of Modiphidius's Mutant Chronicles Siege of the Citadel version 2. For those of you who are not familiar with my channel, let me be very clear. I am not a hobbyist, I'm a gamer. And so videos like this or doing the hobby aspect will probably be pretty quick. I really want to get to the game on the table, and I guess the one exception are the 3D printing, because I'm fascinated by that. But again, expect gameplay to actually be coming to the channel pretty soon. And again, down below, what was the game that you first bought from a game convention, and or what was the game that got you into the board gaming hobby? Have a good one, guys. Talk to you soon.